The affirmative represents the engaged intellectuals. Derrida writes about our first card isolates three links. First are secondary delights. They use rhetorical power in the name of just cause, yet they really in the base promote themselves by winning your ballot and legitimate themselves against their peers. This intellectual greed kills the ethos of their project. Second, the private-public distinction. Utilizing debate in order to voice their opinions and publicly proves they wait to speak out until there's something to gain. And third, their fantasies of reality. The division exists between their privileged position and the non-intellectual subject they represent. You can't criticize debate and also take part in the structures of the fantasy position that can never be reached. Also, there's no, independently, we don't need any links to win that there's no impact or even the 1AC. First, Derrida argues that the format of debate is too restricted. Even if we can argue various frameworks, time, speech, topic participation, audience limits for all prevent meaningful activism. Second, there's no outside impact. If they can't prove a unique impact in this round, they should lose on presumption. Third, they don't need the ballot. At best, they don't need the ballot. At best, voting for them does nothing, but at worst, it plays in their intellectual greed and causes further subjectivity. Thus, Derrida argues you should refuse the concession of authority. Fourth, this is proven already. They've been reading this app all year and debate hasn't changed. The majority of teams still use large impact and talk about issues. If we are subscribing to their format, we won't be able to learn about the war in Afghanistan and Iraq they talk about. And our criticism outweighs theirs. First, it precedes theirs. Derrida argues that allowing the intellectual to work in his own way negates human agency. This has an immediate effect, whereas their claims are far off and at least outside the round. And second, it turns their own advocacy, making their subjectivity, they shortcut their own alternative and uphold the very forces against where they fight against. That's our Derrida 5 that's bolstered by the Coviello 2K argument. Third is magnitude. Coviello argues that by allowing agents power to assert their domination and control, we allow for inevitable apocalypse and mass nuclear. Otherwise, our impact argument is not necessarily that doing the plan will cause nuclear war, but that their project makes the judge have a subject position that the bad allows them to be utilized by the state, and bad things can happen. Yeah, bad things can happen. An alternative is to refuse the function they have pledged upon you of removing military from debate. Our Derrida 5 evidence indicates that in order to truly solve, you must deconstruct the only implications they talk about. This suggested prescription as well. This doesn't reject the intellectual entirely, however. A negative ballot does disassociate from the cultural legitimation because it causes our implications, and this disassociation prerequisite in order to solve anything in the real world. This is Derrida 5. Intellectual seems more and more debatable on recessing the necessity for disassociation between what I think and say, right? I don't think I can give up on the responsibility for the right powers, and I'm so recognized having an unprotectable intellectual was possible, paralyzing me too often that's necessary, which had nothing would happen. And to go to the line by line, they say solvency depth is the alternative, but we're not trying to solve the case. We believe the case can't do anything that was above in our impact. Is external. That's the alternative is refusing the subject position posited by the ass, which will probably, refusing the subject position posited by the ass will probably solve the critique that we're talking about because the judge can take back vote subjectivity. They say, they make this argument about, you can either vote for you after they don't, so they don't link, but cross-apply from the link overview. And two, this is false when they posit the meta-ethical position on the judge and tell them that they need to change debate. They posit the judge has a responsibility of rooting out militarism in debate, which takes away their ability to make choices between arguments and things like that. They say, make this individual space arguments and the row arguments, but one can still learn from inside. This debate round is talking nothing about our policy in Iraq and Afghanistan and child slavery, like the Duro evidence is talking about, or our oppression of people. The Duro talks about, we would be better off engaging in competing opinions with the system to learn. There's no reason normal debate can solve this. Our Duro will probably agree with policy debate as it's constructed because she talks about we need to increase the education of people about Iraq and Afghanistan, and this project has done nothing to increase my education about those things. Also, too, this isn't, Duro isn't talking about the debate space specifically. It doesn't answer arguments. We agree that yes, learning about militarism can be a good thing, but trying to deposit that responsibility on a judge in the format of debate is probably a bad thing. And three, Duro talks about creating global organizations. This proves our critique is done in the space. This proves our argument. Their critique is done in the space of debate instead of going to the public, to a more public sphere, and they're trying to act without change. Changing debate won't solve any militarism. Even if they can root all militarism out of debate, that won't do anything in the world. There's no way to child slavery in debate. We need separate sphere. They can still criticize debate outside of it, but when they just go into their project trying to wins and things like that, they're not actually doing anything to solve the real world. They say where the judges are going to they make this pacifism argument with this. That was explained above in the link debate. They say perm, but first of all, they say perm, but First, it links to the criticism that was above. They can't refuse an ethical position and take it up at the same time. Second, it's a double because either A, it retains a link, which means you'll vote for us in the impact level, or B, it's severance, which means you'll vote for us because it makes them conditional, allows them to no link out of our entire 1 and 2, which makes them impossible to neg. Third, it magnifies our link and impacts because of their shifting stance and purely non-religious commitment to intellectual fuel by the desire to win at all costs. Fourth, the perm includes our textual necessitates and neg ballot. Fifth, they're mutual exclusivity. They're mutually exclusive. You can't allow them to take away subjectivity while subscribing to the project they propose. This applies to all the perms when they say do the plan while implementing the ideology of the case. This means the judge takes the subject position and would vote negative anyway because they acknowledge that the plan can't do anything. Luke, do you have a
no. I just wanted to say that I got confused in cross-ex. Burroughs would support the counterplan because it's a different way of viewing the world.
Okay, Burroughs would support the counterplan because it's a different way of viewing. It's a different way of viewing the world. Also, if we win that we should engage in policy debate in the way that we currently have it. That's a reason why we can have like conditional things and track at multiple levels.